begin, I would like you to meet the children you'll be watching. First of all, the girls. Claire, Lucy, Faith, and Tina. Katie, Amy, and Heather. Now we come to the boys. Thomas, John, and Ben, Henry, Matthew, and Sam. Running in a circle. This exercise is exactly as before, but as you'll see, Claire is holding a wand. Children love using simple props, and they can be very beneficial in helping them to achieve the quality of movement required. Exercise for feet. In this exercise, we have adjusted the sitting position to give the back more support, and the music is played more slowly to give the children time to concentrate on a fuller use of the feet on the downward movement. There will be greater emphasis on the use of the feet throughout the grades. No matter how young the child, we must help them to understand that both sides of the foot should be worked equally, and that the toes should not be curled. In this way their feet will strengthen, and hopefully we shall see less fiddling. Let's see a close-up of Heather's feet. Curling and stretching. To increase the flexibility in the back, we have the arms hugging the knees more strongly than before. And once again, by taking the music slightly slower, the child has longer to feel a straight back. Let's watch Katie. Sensitive hands. Young children need constant encouragement to make them feel right through to the ends of the fingers, and so we have developed the existing hand exercises. Hopefully, this will stimulate both physical awareness and imagination. In the first of these, sensitive hands, we have used the simple idea of picking stars. Sharp hands. I would like to show you two versions of sharp hands. Firstly, a simple interpretation, and to follow, a more imaginative one. Here, I asked the children to use their imaginations when listening to the music. We then talked together and found that Amy, Claire and Heather all chose to be witches. Using their ideas, we came up with the version you're about to see. Most children love the chance to interpret ideas, and through creative interaction, we can learn more about them as individuals. It's so essential for them to learn to communicate through the hands and eyes. I thought you might like to see Claire on her own. Running en diagonale. To help the coordination and fluidity of the movement when running, we have given the girls a scarf to hold and the boys a flag. This is something which you will see developed through primary, grades 1 and 2. Demi-pliés. Here we have divided the setting with pauses to help sustain correct posture and placing. We have also introduced the use of pauses in the music so that the children can learn to distinguish the duration of sounds, encouraging them right from the beginning to listen to the music. Rises. To make the grade easier to learn, this exercise has the same setting as demi-pliés. It finishes with a spin, which makes it more fun to do and also relieves the concentration. All the way through pre-primary, we're using a natural first position, which is all that should be expected at this age. However, we should always remind the children that both feet should be placed with equal turnout. Point and close. The children will now show us point and close. Once again, the setting is unchanged. We've taken the extension and the closing with a sliding action to encourage strength in the foot and to improve stability. Let's now look more closely at Katie's feet. Walking with stretched feet. Here we have a logical progression from point and close. The setting remains the same as the present exercise. Walking on demi-point. This exercise is the same as before. Let's watch the children. I would like to show you this exercise again, using the second half of the music for the boys. As you'll see, they have more difficulty finding their balance than the girls. bend and jump. Now we have a new exercise. It is designed to strengthen the legs and feet for jumping, with the emphasis on a good use of demi-plie. Let's watch John and the girls. Bounces. In this exercise, we're looking for a natural sense of rebound on the jump. We have added a clap on the 16th count to encourage the children to listen to the music. Claps and marches. The children are clapping in rhythm before the marches, so that they gain a better understanding of the tempo. When they become part of the accompaniment, they automatically feel more involved. Pony steps on demi-point. This is a new exercise to prepare skipping. As you'll appreciate, the emphasis should be on the upward movement of the leg and not on stamping the floor. Skips. Here's an exercise which needs no explanation. Group mimes. Now we come to the group mimes. John Louchbury has composed 9 very contrasting pieces of music for this section. Their titles are self-explanatory. We have purposely not filmed this section, as we feel the ideas should come from the teacher and the children themselves. You've probably found, when training children to listen and immediately respond in movement, some have more difficulty than others expressing themselves. They either follow others through lack of confidence, or are sadly uninspired. It's vitally important that we all encourage them to express ideas through movement, and each piece of music has been composed to create visual images to which they can easily respond. You can choose one of the 9 pieces of music, and with your children develop a short composition with a storyline within its structure. I would like you to listen to 3 of the pieces of music. Circus scene. A picnic in the country. balls. The great advantage here, of course, is that the mind can be prepared in advance of the examination, thereby giving the teacher and the children the time to explore their ideas more thoroughly. Pony trots. Claire is going to demonstrate pony trots for us. This exercise can be taken in a group formation or with a partner, and we shall now show you a version which includes both. Rhythm. This simple clapping exercise is to establish the rhythm of pony gallops. Pony gallops can also be taken with a partner or as a group. Pony gallops with skipping rope. We have an alternative version of this exercise with different music. The children are using a skipping rope, which helps both coordination and elevation. And you have a choice of taking the exercise in a circle or en diagonale. The children loved using a skipping rope, especially the boys. It presented them with an exciting challenge and a great sense of achievement. Finally, we come to the enchaînement. Teachers can either choose one of the 4 following examples, or using the music supplied, can choreograph their own. These are group enchaînements incorporating steps from pre-primary in a simple setting and using a floor pattern to give the children a sense of performance at the end of the examination. Firstly, let's see Claire and Faith working as partners. The music is in 2/4 time. Now we'll see the same enchaînement with Sam and Faith. Lucy and Claire will now show you the second enchaînement, which is in 6/8 time, and is again taken with a partner. The third enchaînement is in 4/4 time. You'll see it demonstrated as a solo by John, but naturally, as with all of these enchaînements, it can be performed by girls and boys in any number. I'm sure by now it will be obvious to you that pianists need a certain amount of flexibility when working with children of this age group. We now come to our last enchaînement, which is also in 6/8 time, and we shall see it performed by a mixed group of boys and girls. We finish pre-primary with a simple curtsy or bow. Primary. Before we start primary, let's meet the children. This is Alicia, Sebastian, Laura, Lisa, Owen, and Victoria. Skips. We begin with skips, an exercise to relax the children and familiarise them with the room before they start their examination. Exercise for feet. This is a development from the foot exercise you saw in pre-primary, but now we're introducing a slower and more controlled extension. closer look at Laura's feet. Exercise for legs. This new exercise has been created to encourage children's understanding of turnout from the top of the leg, and we felt that by moving the raising of the leg from pre-primary to primary, more strength could be gained. Sebastian and Victoria are going to demonstrate for you. This exercise is particularly good for keeping the pelvis stable while lengthening and lifting the leg. It also helps to strengthen the lower stomach muscles. Let's take another look at Victoria. Exercise for hands. Exercise for hands is also a progression from pre-primary, which encourages further awareness and a more flexible use of the hands. In addition, we have included a rounded and lifted movement, similar to fifth position. Now Risa will show you the exercise. You will appreciate that both she and Alicia have their own special interpretations. Exercise for hand and arm extensions. This exercise is designed to develop a full and fluid use of the arms and hands. It's important to get the sensitivity through to the fingertips and avoid the tension in the shoulders. First port de bras. Now for the first port de bras, which introduces bra bar the shapes of first position, demi-seconde, and open fifth. We have purposely created a lyrical setting here in order to prevent a strained presentation of the arm positions. And the introduction of a low first position helps the child to recognize the different levels of the arms, thus avoiding the all too prevalent problem of taking first position too high. Lisa will now give you another chance to look at the different levels of the arms. Second port de bras. The second port de bras is on a polonaise rhythm and introduces demi-bras. The hands start on the waist to give a more direct line for the height of the arms. The quality of the music in this port de bras gives it a stronger feeling than the first. We have also continued walking with stretched feet in preparation for an exercise which follows in grade 1. Run and pause. Here we continue the use of running and introduce the pauses, which help give a more controlled use of demi-point. The children should also be encouraged to make maximum use of the floor space. Swaying. This is a free movement exercise which develops a natural transfer of weight. We're now going to see Sebastian repeating this exercise. You'll notice that the changeover of the flag is an excellent device for developing coordination. demi-pliés. These are now taken in first and second position. We've purposely started with second position to give a wider, more stable base. It's difficult for children to feel the two-way stretch needed for pliés, but you can help by encouraging them to use their thighs on the upward movement. Notice how well she uses the floor on the dégagé. Point and close. You'll see that a fondue has been introduced here to encourage flexibility in the legs in preparation for spring points and other jumping steps. Victoria and Sebastian will show you the exercise. Walks and points. Teachers can now choose to take the exercise en diagonale or in a circle. Firstly, we'll show it in pairs en diagonale. Victoria will now show you the exercise in a circle. Step close, step point. In order to encourage firmer placing, this exercise has been raised to primary from the current pre-primary. Knee lifts. This training exercise is a progression from the pony steps exercise you saw in pre-primary, but is now taken sur place to achieve a more controlled change of weight and balance. It's also an excellent preparation for the stalk walks exercise. Sebastian does this particularly well, so let's watch him demonstrate the exercise again. Stalk walks. This new exercise is excellent for training balance and establishing a transfer of weight forward, both onto the flat foot and onto demi-point. When we look more closely at Laura, you'll see that she achieves the transfer of weight forward easily and places her leg in the rotary position very well. Sautés. This will be the children's first attempt at sautés from first position, and we shall now see them following on continuously without a break in the music. Sautés and échappé sautés. To introduce springing from a closed to an open position, we've amalgamated sautés and échappé sautés in a simple setting. We'd like to emphasize that children are only expected to use a second position appropriate to their individual capacity of strength and turnout. Spring points. This is now a training exercise in which the setting has been marginally simplified. Gallops and spring points remains unchanged. Exercise for eye focus. Now an exercise that teaches children to use their head and eyes when changing direction and turning. I'd like to show you Alicia, who anticipates the change of direction very well. Naturally, this exercise is also taken to the left. Skip change of step is a simple combination of gallop and skipping movements. We're now using a specific floor pattern, which the children enjoyed a great deal. Now we come to 2 rhythm exercises, which establish a basic pulse of 2 and 3 beats in a bar. By using Hungarian-style music, we are introducing the children to the Grade 1 rhythm and character steps. Firstly, we'll have the rhythm in 2/4 time. Now, Lisa will show you the rhythm in 3/4 time. Finally, we come to the dance for girls and boys. It is designed to start developing a sense of solo performance and an awareness of floor pattern. The teacher has a choice of 2 pieces of music and may either choreograph their own dance or simply use the example we're about to show you. We are using the first piece of music and the idea of a little girl flying a kite. Lisa will now dance for us. We conclude this grade once more with a simple curtsy or bow. meeting the children. Layla, Eleanor, Susie, Jane, Lottie, Polly, Rupert, and Philippa. Skip change of steps. Once again, we begin with a simple movement that relaxes the children and familiarises them with the room. In this exercise, the children can use a natural epaulement if they like, and you'll probably see it more clearly with only two children, James and Layla. Bar. The exercises, which start facing the bar in grades 1 and 2, begin with the hands on the bar. Exercise for feet with risers. This exercise is our first introduction to bar work. As you will see, it is a further progression of the foot exercises in pre-primary and primary. This is an extremely good exercise for strengthening the underneath muscles of the foot. The toes should remain lengthened in the fully stretched position and not be allowed to curl, which would weaken the metatarsals. It is also a valuable exercise for strengthening the muscles supporting the ankle in preparation for demi-point work, pirouettes and allegro. Let's look at this exercise again with a close-up of Polly's feet. You will see quite clearly the use of the quarter and half point, and the smooth, controlled rising and lowering through the whole foot. Demi-pliés. This is the same demi-plié exercise you saw in primary, but it is now taken sideways to the bar. If children are sufficiently stable in their posture and placing, they should be encouraged to use their head on the dégagé. You will have noticed that the second little girl showed uneven growth in the length of her legs. This is perfectly normal at this age, and it is quite transient, but it does make it difficult for children to keep their weight evenly over both feet. Therefore, care should be taken in controlling the depth of the demi-plié. Divided battement tendu. This new exercise is a natural progression from the previous two grades. One which we hope will teach children to use the floor in battement tendus. You'll see how the divided battement tendu assists the action of the metatarsal on the full tendu. We'll show you a close-up of Polly's feet. Port de bras. To conclude the bar work, we now have a simple port de bras which introduces second position. It also helps to train the child's coordination of the eyes and head with the arm. If children are encouraged to listen and express the quality of the music, this will help them to give an individual interpretation. Lottie always gets very involved in the music, so let's watch her now. Center. Exercise for relaxation. This is the first grade in which we introduce a free movement exercise for relaxation before commencing the center work. We'd like to emphasize that its sole purpose is to relax the children and shouldn't be approached as a technical exercise. Here are Susie and James. Susie will now demonstrate the exercise, showing you clearly the relaxation of the head, shoulders and arms. She has a particularly good feeling of rebound. exercise. This exercise is a progression from primary and is designed to encourage a more sustained use of the turnout. We have also incorporated flexing and stretching of the feet from a turned-out position. Flexing the feet helps children feel the stretch at the back of the knees. You will have noticed that Layla still has a slight tendency to sickle on her left foot, something which is quite common at this stage. This exercise, however, is designed ultimately to correct this by teaching the child, once again, to use both sides of the foot equally. Exercise for poise. And now for the second of our free movement exercises, which helps to train a lift through the body and head. The movement makes the child feel the connection of the arms to the back and establishes the use of the muscles under the shoulder blades. The pure and lyrical quality of the music should inspire the child. We also hope to encourage the children to begin focusing into the distance, an important aspect of their training. Let's watch Lottie again. Run and pause with rise. This free movement exercise continues swift running from primary with a more controlled rise and incorporates the poise position you have just seen. James and Lottie will now show you the exercise moving in a circle. This exercise can also be taken running anywhere in the room. The first port de bras is a progression from primary, retaining the low first position and using the port de bras taken at the bar. The approach for training this port de bras should be just the same for boys as girls. When we watch James, you will see that he finds it difficult to maintain the openness of the shoulders. Second port de bras. We now introduce third position and continue the use of first and second positions and demi-bras. To improve the third position of the arms, we have prepared them from first rather than second position. And to give you a closer look at the carriage of the head, Susie will show you the exercise again. Demi-pliés. Here we introduce third position of the feet and a battement tendu to change sides. Working from third position also prepares the children for some of the allegro exercises which follow. Let's watch Rupert demonstrate this exercise again. Transfer of weight. After the simple swaying exercise in primary, we now introduce a classical transfer of weight. see the exercise again. You'll notice that the transfer of weight is taken with straight legs the first time, and then with demi-pliés. Battement tendu with preparation for grand battement. Here we have introduced grand battement to the same point lift, point close action as in the existing syllabus, but have now combined it with battement tendu devant. This reminds the children that a grand battement starts and finishes as a battement tendu. Children must take care during this exercise to fully transfer the weight over the supporting leg and to make sure that the extension is directly in front. Classical walks is a new exercise which uses walking with stretched feet. It is now taken en diagonale with the use of the head towards the audience. Here's the girls' version taken with a partner. As you will see, this exercise encourages the carriage of the head. It also introduces the children to working on two diagonals. We have created a different exercise for the boys, and we've used the polonaise to give a stronger quality. Swaying and spinning develops still further the natural transfer of weight we saw in primary, using greater momentum and freedom of movement. It's also a good way of relaxing the children after a series of technical exercises. This exercise is taken running anywhere in the room, and the child can choose the final position. Sautés are the same as in primary, but naturally we're looking for a little more strength and control. We will now show you 4 children jumping one after the other without a break in the music. Sautés and échappé sautés. Once again, this is a simple progression from primary, but you'll see that the children have more strength. Petit jeté. This training exercise prepares the petit jeté for the step exercise which follows. Spring points and petit jeté. A simple combination coordinating the arms with the legs. Soubresauts. We felt it was important to include soubresauts to establish the position of the legs and the feet in the air. Something children can find quite difficult to feel, but a step they really enjoy. Soubresauts and gallops. Now, a combination of soubresauts with gallops forward. This version uses one diagonal and arms inserted in opposition on the gallops. This version of the exercise uses 2 diagonals. You will see how the use of soubresauts improves the position in the air of gallops. Skips and pony gallops is a moving step showing different levels of elevation. As you can see, this exercise uses pony gallops as a base. It makes a pleasant break from the more technical exercises. Now we come to the studies, which give all children the opportunity to dance alone in a classical style. Polka, girls. As they will be doing a character dance later on, we have introduced this short study, using a simple floor pattern and steps the children have learned so far. Here, Layla dances to a polka. want the children to enjoy these studies and to interpret them individually. You'll see that Susie uses her head and eyes in a slightly different way to Layla. The boys' study is slightly different to the girls and is danced to a hornpipe. Rhythm and character steps. The character steps, dance, and music for this grade are based very simply on the Hungarian peasant style. They give the children an understanding of rhythm and phrasing. They build a small vocabulary of steps which will be used in the dance. The first two exercises are to work on rhythm and developments in 2/4 and 3/4 time. They show us just the flavour of style in the hand positions, walks and music. Rhythm in 2/4 time. This exercise is for developing the basic pulse of 2 beats in the bar and uses a simple rhythm pattern over 4 bars of music. The pattern is made up of heel-toe walks, clapping and pauses. Now Layla will show us the action of the feet in more detail. Rhythm in 3/4 time. Here we are developing the basic pulse of 3 beats in the bar by missing the first beat of each bar for 4 bars and then missing the third beat of each bar for 4 bars. Let's watch the children. Jumps with eye focus. Now we are developing the quarter turn jumps with eye focus, but are moving from corner to corner. James shows very clearly that the head and eyes precede the jump, as in primary. Picked up runs. We're working on a simple rhythm, but the technique requires a sharp pick-up of the foot at the back and the ability to stop within a movement. This exercise is taken in a circle. The girls can choose to have their hands on their waist or hold their skirts. step can be taken with a partner, as James and Lottie will now demonstrate. We want to encourage working with a partner, and more is included in subsequent grades. Dance, boys. Now we come to the character dance. And for a change, let's see the boy first. This shows a boy at harvest time cutting hay with his scythe. We have included a short mime sequence. Dance, girls. This dance includes the same steps as the boys, but the music, storyline and mime are different. Here the girl dances using an embroidered handkerchief as a prop. Reverence. The reverence, which we finish with, is taken to the pianist first and then to the examiner. 2. As in the previous grade, we start by meeting the children. Emma, Rebecca, Victoria, Nicholas, Bryony, Desiree, Matthew, and Leon. Skip change of step with gallops. Once again, we begin with a simple movement in a circle, to which we have now added the use of arms in third opposition. Bar. Exercise for feet. You will notice when we look at the exercise that it is important that the metatarsal is developed not only for strength, but also to improve the flexibility and general look of the foot. Desiree demonstrates clearly the use of the metatarsals on the stretch. Emma, who you will now see, has a high instep. And as you know, a high instep does not necessarily denote a strong foot or a worked foot. In fact, it can mean quite the opposite. It's absolutely vital that this kind of foot gains strength in the metatarsals. Pliés. Now we introduce full pliés in first and second positions and take the exercise facing the bar. The use of the head on the dégagé is optional. Battement tendu, à la seconde and devant from first position. Battement tendus are now taken sideways to the bar. We have a continuation of the battement tendu to the second, taken from first position, to establish the turnout and line of the leg. It's essential in this exercise that the starting position is correctly placed. Battement tendu, à la seconde and devant from third position. This is exactly the same exercise, but taken from third position. All battement tendus to second close devant to maintain the line of the leg and enable the child to control turnout without twisting the hips. We now use a mazurka rhythm for a stronger action. Battement tendu derrière. This exercise introduces battement tendu derrière and is taken facing the bar to secure the placement of the body and the leg derrière. The music has a smoother quality to give the children more time to feel this new line. Battement glissé is a progression from the Grade 1 battement tendu exercise, using the same divided movement to help the children use the floor. We have also included the full battement glissé action at a slightly faster tempo to achieve a quicker use of the foot and to encourage a sharper action. Let's take a closer look at Emma repeating the exercise. Exercise for battement fondu. We have created a simple exercise which we should continue to develop throughout the grades. It is primarily for the development of ballon. Here we want to establish the coup de pied position with the tip of the working foot touching the ankle bone of the supporting leg, both devant and derrière. Also the coordination that is essential in the simultaneous bending and stretching of the legs. Now for a closer look at Désirée. Grand battement is now taken on a new timing of a polonaise, with a divided action in 3 movements. hope that all the work that has gone into the use of the foot will improve the throwing action of the leg that is so important in this exercise. As you know, the height of the leg at this stage is determined by the individual child's control over placing and posture. Emma will show us the exercise again. Grand battement à la seconde. To help maintain the alignment of the hips, we take this exercise from first position, facing the bar. And for easy learning, we have used the same time signature, but a different piece of music. You will see with these children a wide variation in degrees of looseness. Emma, you will notice, has to work harder controlling the height of her leg in order not to sacrifice her placing. We are now taking rises from first position, a development from the parallel position used in previous grades. This exercise needs a lot of control, so we have added a demi-plie at the end to relax the legs. Let's see it again. The port de bras has been developed from grade 1 and includes the use of open fifth position. Rebecca and Bryony will show you the exercise. We'll now look more closely at Rebecca, who shows yet again an expressive interpretation of the music and a beautiful and natural use of head and eyes. Now we'll look at Matthew, who is equally responsive. Centre. Exercise for relaxation. This exercise is a progression from grade 1, but introduces a figure of 8 movement of the arms. Let's now look at Matthew again, who has really captured the swinging movements of the arms and the use of the body weight, which is important in free movement. The poise position is a continuation from grade 1. First port de bras. We have introduced fifth position at grade 2, and we have also included open fifth. Rebecca will now demonstrate the first port de bras again. Not only does she show the position of the arms clearly, she also has a very lyrical quality. Second port de bras, girls. This is a non-technical preparation for arabesque line and an introduction to quasi-alignment. Second port de bras, boys. Now we come to the boys' version, to which we have made slight adjustments. To prepare arabesque, we have used the same principle as in primary, where we trained the arm positions in a fluid way. The coordination of both arms makes the child feel the pressure through the air and helps to strengthen and support the back without unnecessary tension. battement tendu with transfer of weight. The training exercise faces en face throughout. It's a continuation from grade 1, but now using battement tendu devant with the arms in third opposition. Now we come to the set exercise, which is exactly the same setting as the training exercise, but it is taken on the quasi-alignment, which you will remember we used in the second port de bras. The transfer of weight continues the use of straight legs and then demi-plie, as in grade 1. Classical walks, girls. This is a progression from grade 1, now including a hold in dégagé derrière, as a simple preparation for arabesque. The boys' version is different, and we felt the boys needed a stronger piece of music. Nicholas will show you the exercise. Classical walks for girls with a change of direction uses 2 diagonals as a logical development from the previous grade. Let's see Emma and Rebecca showing the exercise. Now Matthew will show you the boys' version. Sways with arm circles. In this free movement exercise, we continue the natural transfer of weight using a circular movement of the arms on the jump. This movement should use the impetus of the arms swinging to improve the jump. As well as developing coordination, this exercise should also give the children a chance to relax and enjoy themselves. We have now increased the number of sautés to warm up the feet before the Allegro section. Soubresauts and changements. Victoria will now show you the simple combination introducing changement. Victoria will now be joined by Matthew for the continuous version. Échappé sauté to second and changement, girls. Here we have a development from primary and grade 1 and introduce sautés in an open position with a series of changements. The time signature is 9/8. Emma and Desiree will now show you the continuous version. The boys' version has a completely different setting in 3/4 time and uses a divided échappé sauté to second, which gives a stronger push-off from the floor, developing more strength. Now for the continuous version with Matthew and Nicholas. Unfolding skips. This free movement exercise is designed to develop the unfolding of the leg as a simple preparation for développé. There is a continuation of swift run and pause, but this time stepping straight onto the rise. I will show you the exercise again with Rebecca and Matthew. As you'll see, in all free movement exercises, the emphasis is not on turnout. Gallops and coupés. The placing for this simple introduction to coupés has been prepared in the battement fondu exercise at the bar. The exercise is the same for boys, except that the arms are held in demi-bras instead of demi-seconde on the coupés. Gallops and coupés with change of direction uses 2 diagonals. Now let's look at Matthew. Gallops with attitude. This is an exercise to develop elevation and a feeling of an attitude devant. Once more, it encourages coordination and a good use of the floor. This exercise helps to train a feeling of suspension in the air in preparation for Grand Allegro. This again is an opportunity to relax and have fun. Step and hop forward and back. Here we have an exercise to develop the transfer of weight forward and back with a natural swinging movement. It also uses a hop with the leg raised behind as a preparation for temps levé and arabesque. The coordination of the body and arms should assist the transfer of weight and the jump. Victoria will now demonstrate this again. Studies. As with previous studies, we have combined movements already learnt in a simple setting with a floor pattern. Gallop, girls. Rebecca will dance the classical study for you. Matthew will show you the boys' version. Free movement study. For this grade, we have introduced a free movement study as an alternative to the classical study. The music is the same for both boys and girls. You will see 3 demonstrations, and Victoria will perform first. Rebecca has a quieter, more classical approach, which is equally charming. As you will have noticed, the arm position at the end of the study is free. Matthew has a particularly good sense of relaxation throughout the dance, as well as strength. Rhythm and character steps. We continue the use of the Hungarian peasant style in this grade, adding to the vocabulary of steps already learnt and developing the rhythm. Rhythm in 2/4 time. This is a development of the grade 1 rhythm, taking the heel-toe step at double time and adding tacits on the claps in the second half of the sequence to train the inner pulse. Rhythm in 3/4 time. In this grade, the missed beat is on the 3rd beat of the bar, and again, tacits are added on the second half. Basque and Cifra. This exercise can be taken in 2/4 or 3/4 time, with or without a partner, We suggest that the step is learnt at the 3/4 time first. We shall now see it taken in 3/4 time with Leon and Emma as partners. Now we will show you a close-up of the action of the feet. We will now show you Becky and Emma dancing as partners to the 2/4 time. Jumps with eye focus. This develops the quarter turn jump from grade 1 to a half turn, focusing upstage and en face. Now we will show you a close-up of Becky to see more closely the head movement. Dance, girls. The dance includes steps from grades 1 and 2, and the girl is shown embroidering a pillow, which she gives as a present to a friend. Bryony will dance for us. We couldn't resist showing you Emma too. She has her own individual interpretation of the dance and mime. Again, the boy's dance uses the same steps as the girls', but he is making a wooden box for the present. Let's watch Leon. Reverence. Grade 3. Here are the children who will be demonstrating Grade 3 for us. Rebecca, Haley, Chris, and Amy. And Gavin will join us for the character work. Transfer of weight. This exercise continues the use of the flexed foot and introduces a rise in second position. Haley will repeat the exercise, and you will see that the transfer of weight is taken from an open position to an open position. pliés. Another training exercise, this time to introduce the full plié in third position and to include rises into the setting. The set exercise is taken sideways to the bar, with a simple movement of the arm on the full plié for coordination. Battements tendus are now taken en croix. Let's look at the exercise again, with Amy demonstrating. This time you'll see more clearly the use of the head, which is naturally still at the discretion of the teacher. We now introduce battement glissé en croix, taken sideways to the bar. rond de jambe à terre. We have taken this training exercise facing the bar to maintain the placing of the hips whilst training the isolation of the leg in the hip socket. And we have used the demi-rond de jambe en dehors and en dedans separately to prepare a full rond de jambe à terre. Firstly, we'll take the trainer en dehors. It's important to use equal turnouts through the exercise, and when returning to first, to ensure the weight is over both feet. Haley will now show you the trainer en dedans. For easy recognition of this setting, we have used different music. In the set exercise, we use a full circular movement en dehors and en dedans, and have added a coda which introduces demi-détourné. Battement fondu. This is a development of the grade 2 exercise, now taken sideways to the bar, and using a simple port de bras with the extension. It is also taken in reverse. Children have the strength in the control of turnout and placing, they should not be discouraged from using this position. Watch Haley on her own and notice the coordination of the head and arms. Here we have introduced retires facing the bar from first position. The slower action prepares the placing of the working leg. The faster speed trains the quicker action needed in exercises such as pas de chat. Grand battement, devant and à la seconde. Here we have a development from grade 2, taken sideways to the bar. You may remember that the closing third devant from Grand battement à la seconde is the same setting as the battement tendu exercise in grade 2. Haley will demonstrate for you again. Grand battement, derrière. We take this exercise facing the bar, and once again, for easy learning and a logical build-up, we use the same setting as the battement tendu derrière exercise in grade 2. The height of the leg, of course, must be determined by the control, strength and placing of each individual child. We'll watch Rebecca again. She has good control, and so we have not discouraged the height of her leg. We must emphasize, though, that we are not expecting the majority of children to reach this height. Exercise for fourth position and chassé à la seconde. We felt it was important to introduce the chassé movement at this stage, as it is such an important linking step. It is also the basis of a fluid transfer of weight in adage, pirouette preparations and allegro. The exercise is taken facing the bar. Here is another opportunity to watch the sliding action to the small fourth position and the introduction of a demi-plie in fourth. The introduction of développés is taken devant only, using 6 counts. As the height of the développé is 45 degrees, the retiré position is under the knee. When we watch Chris and Haley, you will notice that the boy holds the arm in bras bas on the introduction. Port de bras. We have introduced a slight side bend here, and so we have taken the port de bras facing the bar. Rises. An exercise developed from the previous grade, and now taking the rise from third position. The training exercise for relevés is in the same setting as the rises. relevés are particularly good for boys as they help to strengthen the calf muscle in preparation for grand allegros. Exercise for relevé devant and pirouette position. A preparatory exercise for establishing the pirouette position. We will now see Amy and Haley showing the continuous version. Exercise for relaxation. This is a continuation from grade 2 and introduces a half turn of the upper body and shoulders with a stretch of the arms. When you look at Amy again, you'll see she has a particularly good use of relaxation and swing, and that the music has an innate dynamic quality which greatly assists the movement. This port de bras introduces fourth and fourth in opposition and uses the chasse to second as prepared at the bar. As in previous grades, we have prepared third arabesque in a fluid way. We will now see the boys' version, using second arabesque instead of third. The music is the same as the girls. now introduce battement tendu en croix in the centre and demi-détourné as prepared at the bar. Classical walks with arabesque. This exercise is a progression from grade 2 and introduces first and second arabesque artere. Triple runs. Another free movement exercise. It uses a continuation of the figure of 8 arms and encourages use of space, coordination and rhythmicality. It also prepares the rhythm for balancés. This exercise also develops a strong, sensitive use of the feet. Let's look at Amy once more. Exercise for pirouette, girls. This exercise for pirouette uses a relevé in fifth and a relevé devant in the centre, with a courroux to give the feeling of turning. As Rebecca and Amy show you the continuous version, you will see once more the excellent use of the pirouette head. The boys' exercise is different to the girls, using pivots instead of a courroux to make the simple turn. Now Chris will repeat the exercise to the left. changement, a warm-up exercise for the feet. Balancé de côté, girls. This is a basic introduction to balancé de côté. We start in preparatory position for the first time and also incorporate a port de bras to fourth position. The exercise for the boys is different, but uses the same music. Jeté ordinaire. Now, a training exercise to introduce jeté ordinaire derrière. Rebecca and Amy will now show you the continuous version. Jeté ordinaire and coupé. Here we have a simple combination using ton levé to strengthen the use of the supporting leg and foot. Once again, Rebecca and Amy will demonstrate the continuous version.